I've got 4 more of these tusk wedges to make. Here's one way to make them. Now I want them on a 5-degree angle, so I'll mark 5 degrees. Now you grab a piece of wood that is the height of that line, right where this corner of the wood meets up with that line. And then you'll glue this piece of wood on the opposite side. And now we'll come over to the jointer and make a bunch of passes and cut right down to that 5-degree angle. And I've got enough material in this block for all 4 wedges that I need, so all 4 will have the exact same angle. And as you can see, as we're cutting down this side, we're taking down the shim and slowly approaching that line that I marked. Now that was the last pass that just got rid of that shim, and you can see now I've got a nice clean cut right down my line. Now I've marked it and we'll cut it into 4 pieces. And now I've got it all clamped to make sure everything's nice and square, and I can use the wedges that I made to now come and place in the spot and transfer the lines, so I know that the line that I mark on here is the exact angle that I have on my wedge. Now I'll also come and mark the back side here, and I have to cut past that line, 2 millimeters or a 1/16 of an inch, so when the wedge goes down, it's pushing against this post, not getting wedged just perfectly inside of this tenon. And I'm also holding the block higher than it's going to be, so when I do come and put the wedge in, it's actually going down and creating that outward pressure that pulls the tenon out and wedges this wedge between the shoulder on the tenon and this face of the post. If you don't do that, and the wedge just fits in perfectly, then you actually haven't created any tension. Okay, now I've already gone and worked this board here so that it's ready to receive the tenon. I already showed how to do it in some videos I recently posted, and so I didn't want to waste your guys' time showing you how to do it all over again. Anyway, the next step is I found the center on this little piece right here, and I found the center on my wedge, and I'm going to place the wedge on there and mark out how the wedge will straddle the tenon. So I'll come and line up my 2 center lines, and then I can mark from the underside where that tenon line is. And now we don't want it to be exactly tight. We actually want this to be a little bit wider than this so that if the wood expands at all, it doesn't try and pull the wedge apart. So it's going to fit a little more loosely over the top of this tenon. Now I've marked out my line and my stop point, and we've got to cut all this middle piece out now. And for that, we'll come over to the bandsaw. Okay, now, and if I did everything right, we should be able to slide this over nice and loose, and then it'll come down part way, meet some resistance, and then you can tap it down in place. And that's just enough pressure to pull it tight against the back side of this post, and it's on there nice and tight where it takes a little bit of effort to get it to come back off. So it's friction fit.